One Piece is in fact good for your soul. 9 out of 10 doctors recommend. And the 10th doctor is a fucking dweeb. Get him out of here. No one wants to see that guy. He's no fun at parties. Yeah, welcome on in, Pig Greg. Greg, thank you for the 43 months. Oh no, yes, 43 months. And the comment, a tree. Flying haunts. What was I thinking of? I feel like I was having a conversation with someone not too long ago. And it was the first time I've had this convo in a while about like, yeah, I haven't really watched One Piece, it's long. And I was like, well, sucks to be you then, but you know, whatever. Whatever. Because, you know, I can't make people do stuff, nor am I inclined to. But it's definitely one of those things. I mean, like, some One Piece fans definitely are aggressive. But I think, you know, that was me. Was it? Oh, sorry about that, Happy Goat. Well, there you go. Go check out One Piece. It's very good. Might be 6. What else was I thinking of? Oh yeah, relatedly, my dearest friend Stealth told me apparently Digimon is in the Toei Company's top 3 earners for the first time ever, which I think is real good. Having watched Tamers, which granted is a bit old now, and then also Beat Break, Digimon's doing some neat things, and I've been on record as saying Pokemon is not, so glad they're getting recognition. Go check out Beat Break. Much better than One Piece, that's for sure, and it's very good. It has some cool world building. If Digimon is not going to take place in like just, you know, late 80s, early 90s real world, sci-fi dystopia is also a good option, and it's a cool ass dystopia too, so I'm here for it, I'm down for it. It's a good show with good animation. Speaking of though, hi other Greg, who I'm sure is Greg's alt. We got some cartoon work of our own to do, because I'm a fool. I'm a foolish fool who never does anything right, and it is required now by law for, well, no, not by law. That makes it sound like I'm being forced to, which isn't at all accurate, because I'm trying to make my comic better, and that's really only going to happen if I get some, what was I thinking of? Some reference material for our lads here. So we're going to try and do that today. We're going to see how much I can fit onto like this one little canvas I've set up. They are the same height. Yeah, I've been working on some writing behind the scenes. I might have to ask some people to look over it, which sucks. I hate doing that. I've had conversations about this before. I wish my shit was just good, and then I didn't have to like try to have people be like, can you tell me what you think of it? It is Memorial Day, which I was describing to someone else. I think I might have said this on stream, but I just kind of see Memorial Day as like, this is summer start holiday. And then, you know, Labor Day is, this is summer end holiday. So, happy Memorial Day for everyone. Granted, Memorial Day does carry a bit more weight than, you know, that and or Labor Day. Because is Labor Day literally just like, workers in America are important. Like, okay, whatever. We know you don't think that. Fucking real jerks, those guys. But like I said, more there. Definitely a bit more weight. So hope everyone had a good long weekend at least. I had an alright one. Nice, Greg. You know, like, there were some bumps in the road, honestly, but Untitled Gamer with a party of 9 also, is that working? Of course, this fucking, here's the thing, I think I'm just gonna disable the Twitch alerts because they don't work. Quick mod me. No, I'm okay. Also, I do use shout out. But I hope you are having a good Wild Arms 3. Yo, they not only made a sequel to Nintendo Arms, but they made 2. It's probably not it. I'm gonna Google this right now. What is Wild Arms 3? Hope you had a good time. For anyone who doesn't know me, I'm Cahill. I'm an artist. I work on my own little comic, and I'm trying to make. Oh, this is a nice little RPG. That does seem cool. It's like Western inspired. That's neat. Wild Arms. That's real cool. I have actually been playing. That's what a lot of my Memorial Day weekend was spent doing. I've been playing in JRPG myself. But before that, if you don't know me, I am Cahill. Believe it or not, I'm Cahill. I'm an artist. I like to make comics. Oh, there. Okay, that's it. I swear, every time I think someone else is in call. Anyway. But yeah, I like to make comics, working on kind of fixing up my own comic at the moment. So I hope you consider hanging around, checking some stuff out. Appreciate it. But yeah, I started Final Fantasy IV this weekend. And I have beaten 3 Final Fantasies so far. 7, which is my favorite, and I really don't think that's changing at any time. 10 and 3. And 7 plus 3 is 10, I have heard. But now I'm going to play, I'm playing 4, though I don't plan to play 14 after that. We're not going to keep doing math. I hate math. I'm an art major. I hate math. Anyway, what was it just thinking of? But yeah, I've been honestly surprised and pleasantly so at Final Fantasy IV. I don't typically like when JRPGs like super mess with your party the entire time. I think 4 has done it in a pretty good way though, where for the most part it's the same kind of, it's like you have a party of 5 and there's like 10 characters max who can be party members. And just depending on the story beat, they're switching out, and you are staying as the same person every time. I have started Final Fantasy VI like multiple times, and I've had a hard time getting through that because there's that point where they're just like, now there are 3 different parties. Play through all of their play my game. Yes, Square Enix. Different chapters with different parties. Do not all progressing the story. No, Square Enix. Like, that's how I end up feeling. I'm sorry, but 4 I think's done it in a real neat way. I've been having a lot of fun with it. Let me think, because I was stuck on like one boss before. I forget which one, but today specifically I was stuck on a wholly different one, which I think was actually just like Garbaggio design. But besides that, it's been real good. The DS version, like, I'm debating, it's not replacing 7 as my favorite, but I would have had 10 as my second favorite previously, and now I have to ask myself, has that changed? Is 4 now my second favorite Final Fantasy? Maybe. The DS version actually has some like really good writing and voice acting. If if you ask me, which is surprising because not only is it an early Final Fantasy game, it's a DS remake of an early Final Fantasy game. And like, DS got that crunchy audio. You wouldn't expect them to go all out on the voice acting, but there's been, I think the voice acting's actually been pretty decent with those kind of caveats in mind. So really enjoying it. And you know, like, what was I thinking of? I don't know. It doesn't have the customizability of OG Final Fantasy VII, which is one reason that game is my favorite. But it kind of treads a cool line of like everyone has their own unique thing going on, but none of it is too complicated that you're ever lost, right? Like, I forget the. I do legitimately. I'm going to try Final Fantasy VI again after this. Do not get it twisted. But the monk, I have forgotten his name, especially because I like to customize names. What was I thinking of? I'm actually just gonna combine these layers. But yeah, like he has a whole thing where like you do legit combos on the controller to do his special moves, and like that's neat. Except if you break up the party, and then I forget what the combos are. I forget if there's a thing in the actual like. Also, you know what? What if I'm just gonna erase this for right now, because Walt and Willie are roughly the same size. I mean, they're identical. They are the same height. They are not identical, despite what some people might say. But they are wildly similar looking, on purpose. They are brothers. But yeah. Now, like I think the different cast members of Final Fantasy IV all have pretty fun little wrinkles in all their different battle gimmicks, without at any point being just like, this is too much, I cannot remember all this. And I mean, like, fucking 4 of them are just like black mages. Like, you know, like their gimmick is you press a button and a massive explosion happens. And you know, I try not to just be like lizard brain about a bunch of stuff. I try to like think deeply about different things, but I'm not gonna lie. If you re-enable me to do massive explosions at any point, it's gonna make me happy. They're just like, okay, you can't do the big spells. You can't. What are you trying to say about lizards? They got historically small brains. I don't know about all lizards, but T-Rexes at least. Tiny brains. I say this with a lot of love for lizards, but But yeah, so Final Fantasy IV, real good. I honestly, I got a lot of plans. Well, not a lot. I have a decent amount of plans this week. What about Dr. Connors? I mean, he gets dumber when he becomes the lizard, Greg. We're in lizards. Are dinosaurs not considered lizards? Are dinosaurs not lizards? Oh, because lizard is a type of reptile, isn't it? Fucking... Okay. This is... big... This is legitimately why writing can be such a nightmare sometimes. You know, no matter what you do, no matter how careful you are, there is going to be one thing where someone comes up and goes, technically. I'm trying to share a thing I care about. I appreciate that about you. I'm also glad that Devil Dino is in Rivals for you. But I was using lizards in a colloquial sense. Not a... What I was thinking of. Not a taxidermical sense. Is that what that'd be called? Etymological? I'm Googling this. Etymological. Relating to etymology. Etymology. Definition. Also, by the way, consider stop using Google for your, what was I thinking of? Oh, that's... Yeah, it would probably be more taxidermical. Etymology is language, not animals. Taxonomic. There we go. Thank you, Greg. It's kind of like the fact, like, yes, dinosaurs are not lizards. They are reptiles. Lizards being a type of reptile. But that's also kind of like, you know, it's like tomatoes are fruits, not vegetables, except vegetables aren't a type of plant. They're a thing in culinary, in food, which means that tomatoes are a vegetable. Despite being the fruit of the tomato plant. Have we as a society fully switched to that, by the way? Is the fact now not that tomatoes are a fruit, but rather that vegetables are just a thing in food? So while tomatoes are fruit, like, I feel like to some degree I've heard that more recently than the tomatoes are fruit thing. Regardless, what else was I thinking of? Something, probably. Final Fantasy, maybe. Oh yeah, I guess it feels like I got more going on this week because it's a 4-day week. And I got something going on tomorrow. Technically Friday, because I always got something going on Friday. Saturday and probably Sunday. Tomorrow is like I have to do a special thing for work, and then also what's it? I'm going to see the Mandalorian movie with my family. I have low expectations, but my family wanted to go. So I'm expecting to have fun with like the action and practical effects and not actually have the movie be any good. I've heard it is mid, if that. I did see a video, I forget, it's this one guy who makes like shorter videos in there. I was kind of like seeing them. But basically, he was talking about how, you know, he was doing a little sketch about how it's like Mandalorian's breaking even, but it's also like a Star Wars film in theaters. It should be doing better than okay, and the only thing I can say to that is, hey Disney, maybe you should have gotten your head out of your ass like 5 years ago. Everyone wants to go see a Star Wars film in theaters when the majority of Star Wars films are like good, and it's been a while since we've gotten anything from Star Wars. Far less people want to see it when we've gotten non-stop things from Star Wars for however many years. And also, some of the last films to be in theaters were not that good. I was actually watching Star Wars stuff with Deja because they had a question about it, and I was like, I'm just gonna put it on now, like the original trilogy. And what was I thinking about the original trilogy? All right, no, because when Deja asked me questions, I was like, and don't get it wrong, the sequels aren't good. I say that as someone who liked them originally, and then they kept coming out. It's the way it is. But, you know. I gotta find some DVDs of, because VHS, I like collecting VHS, but they are a little scuffed. And I would like something more solid to preserve the original trilogy without all of George Lucas's, all of that. You know, the way he did, the how he does it. Well, with the never leaving the critically acclaimed film alone. Cut that out. You stop that. So. Yeah, I'm glad I was able to hang on to the DVDs and VHS as I could, because goodness knows. Streaming ain't all cracked up to be, which, I mean, you know, I wouldn't be the one to say I told you so, because I feel like when that all started, I was more just like, yeah, I just prefer DVDs, but there is a bit of it where it's like, I don't trust this at all. Even before I learn a lot of new stuff. Are they actually? I got it. Star Wars Origin Trilogy 50th. Oh, in theaters? But not like in I might see it in theaters. What was I thinking of? Yeah. I think I think there's some acceptable things to go back and redo from like the original film, among which is like, I never want to see human Jabba. I didn't know that was a thing, and I feel sorry for the people who watched it in the 77 version and got the idea that he was like a guy when, you know, he slug. Also, I just realized I'm on the wrong layer. Oopsie. Thought I saved that. You know, let's just save real quick, just in case. So you're saying they'll probably be on DVD after. Well, that's good. I might grab that and then see if I can find maybe a slightly newer version of New Hope is like, that's the problem, right? Because either if you New Hope is legitimately just like, okay, you have to, the specific version you have to watch is in this time window, because it's after they went back and was like, oh yeah, Jabba's a slug man, sorry about that, but it's before the stupid Han conversation happened and they PNG edited his head to move. Oh, he wasn't in. I was led to believe that was how theaters were in '77. Okay, I did not realize. Okay, never mind. You can just watch the original then. Anything to avoid PNG Han Solo. truly, that's all that matters. Honestly, if you ask me, and this is how I treat Star Wars now, they should have doubled down on like Old Republic kind of stuff. Because I think, you know, while I was on board with the sequels initially, I think interpreting the events after Return of the Jedi as anything other than, oh yeah, Luke won, like, that's sad, no matter how it works out, you know? Because the whole idea is like, yep, he did it, it's all good, it's chill now. Not that there's like world peace, but just that in terms of like Jedi Sith stuff, we're chill. Which is why I think like the Mandalorian works, because that's like bounty hunters, which has always been a fun thing. See, that's a problem right there. And then like Luke shows up like once, and it's pretty cool, because he's still super cool and fun. What else was I thinking of with that? But yeah, so considering like, fuck to ask. I mean, I haven't gotten into it. I'm just saying like more kind of like prequel stuff, you know, of when the Republic was the thing. Literally like one of the, like in New Hope, it's like, yep, Jedi protected the Republic for 1,000 years. And like even the prequel movies give us like 10 years of that. That, not really even, because we do a time skip. We do 2 time skips between them. 2 notable time skips. The first being we completely skip Anakin being a Padawan. And then following that, we completely skip the Clone Wars, which, I mean, we did get a series out of that, and it's pretty good. But you get my point. Even the Clone Wars doesn't even really count, because like the point of the Clone Wars is like, hey, this monastic order of space wizards who have like who have been like single-handedly keeping peace and obeying their kind of principles for the last 1,000 years. Yeah, this is now they're really just falling apart on us right now. Like, that's the point of the Clone Wars. They even say that in like in Attack of the Clones. They're like, there's no way we as the Jedi can handle this. Gotta do something else. And then, you know, suspiciously made army. What else was I thinking of with that? So yeah, like any amount of time prior to that of Jedi's just having adventure. Yeah. Just, you know, that would be cool. It would give more weight. It'd be the One Piece thing, you know? Where it's like, you hear about this figure, what have you, for like however long, as we watch Luffy and the gang do cool ass shit. And then we finally get the flashback revealing the character, and it's like, oh my lord, they were even cooler. Which then gives more weight to what Luffy and his crew are doing. What was I thinking of? But yeah, so. But, I mean, that's not That's not even like that ship has sailed, to be clear. This isn't even me being like, oh, we could, you know, like in the future, this could. No, 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 no. Oh, it's so far. The ship is. We're gone. It's gone. We got way too much spaghetti on the wall to make that work. Oh, damn! I got a good oval, and it was on the wrong layer. But yeah, tis how tis. Still lots of good Star Wars stuff out there, so. I mean, it's not chill because mega corporations, but it's decently chill. Oh yeah, did I even say the thing? Consider switching off Google, because apparently they're doing like pure AI searches now. It's not just like the little window, it's going to be like the whole page. Yeah, consider finding a better one. Was before that. That was the High... Okay, then that's what I mean. High Republic. More turn. This will be a very Cahill says something, chat corrects the terminology sort of deal. The entire stream. Also, to be clear, I'm changing like very little about Walt and Willie's design in these character sheets. This is not a redesign as much as it is a touch-up definitive edition. This is my definitive edition. This stream is going on Blu-ray. Lord. If I ever like became a big streamer and someone at a con was like, I know you like physical media, here's the fucking DVD collection of all your streams, I think I would go into a cardiac arrest. I'd be like, this accursed relic. It was done with such pure intentions, but the actual object is accursed. Truly. So. Yeah. Also among the changes I'm going to be doing with like new comic stuff is just trying to be using like halftones more. Gotcha. Yeah. Well, I even think that's still cool. Happy Goat, because like there were Sith. It's just that the point was they were in hiding, you know? And I think you could probably do lots with that. Don't even gotta bring Palpatine into it. It can just be all the other guys running around. I know there's some freaks in there. I've heard about y'all. I have heard the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise. So. Also, like you know, kind of with what in line with what I was talking about. I feel like movie / just in general, like big production sort of deal about Plagueis rising to power under the nose of the Jedi, only to eventually be betrayed by his apprentice. Like, that could have been something. But I feel like now, how it's gone, now that would just be that would be the ultimate glup shitto movie. So like I said, it's sale. Oh, is that the Acolyte? I didn't watch the Acolyte. Almost goes to prove my point. I feel like the thing I heard about the Acolyte is like some of the fights are cool. And I'm not saying Star Wars has to be philosophical, what have ya. But you would hope there'd be more to say about the writing, so. But that's what I'm saying, right? Because, like, that also makes me think of, like, you know, not only did the Acolyte come out well after, like, all the prequels and stuff, came out after the sequels and everything. So that's definitely what I mean when I'm like, the ship has sailed, you know? It doesn't necessarily come across as, like, an attempt to, kind of more define the universe more and give background to things in, you know, the classics we know and love. It more is just like a Star Wars show. So, and I mean, to some degree that's Disney. They have been, I don't even want to say they've been milking. That undersells it. They've been clinging on with dear life to Star Wars and the MCU for Disney Plus shows. You know? They have just, if somehow, some way they lost the rights to that stuff, that would be it. They'd be unable to drum up any hype for Disney Plus subscriptions. Most people just wouldn't get it. They'd be like, what? I don't know, what? No. I don't even have faith that they'd be able to make, like, spin-offs based on their movies. In part because a lot of their movies are remakes right now. That was a bit messy. Yeah, that kind of tracks. Go. Like I said, I was struggling even to, like, remember that kind of, like, those kind of comments about it. But, like, you know, that's what I'm trying to underline. It's not even me being like, yeah, that show was a bad way to do it. No. It's that even if that show was really good, it would still be in the pile of other Star Wars stuff, you know? Especially, like, in modern day. So, like, imagining a world where Star Wars manages to hibernate for the next, like, I don't know, 50 years. Lucas is, you know, not, to be clear, I have no problem with George Lucas, but, like, Lucas isn't around anymore, so, like, he's not, no editorial on his part. Disney's washed their hands of it, all that kind of stuff. Maybe someone could pick up the pieces from there. I don't know who, though. Probably won't be me. I could also be dead. Time to... Exactly. He's a bit of a freak. Listen, I don't like to be mean of people in the cultural zeitgeist who are, like, you know, real jerks. I don't know if I'd say that about George Lucas. He just needs someone to be like, hey, dude, write this different. Redo this. Needs an editor. I think a lot of people have said that. I was framing it that way because, like I said, it needs to be free of the baggage a bit. So it needs to be down the road where, you know, everyone who is getting their fingers in that pie is just like, they're not even around anymore to be doing that. So, I don't know if you could do a hard reboot. That's the problem, right? It's like, even if that was a good idea, even if hard rebooting Star Wars was like in any way a good idea, and be like, we're just gonna do the original trilogy, build from there, that idea sucks right now too, because everything's getting rebooted and like remade. No one would have faith in that. So that's why it's like this thing would need to slumber under the ice for some time before we could go take another swing at it. That's fine. I don't know if y'all know this, there's lots of good Star Wars stuff. So like leaving it alone and having people appreciate it, what exists now over time, you know, over the next however many years, it's not a bad thing. I remember like trying to espouse that philosophy to someone about like, you know, at least actually I know exactly who it was now, and I won't name them. About like, you know, if it means, you know, there's always the good stuff that we loved before still exists and it'll always be there. So if it means that we can't enjoy this new stuff because maybe the people making it aren't that great, or just because it's going in a bad direction overall creatively, you know, we can still go back to the ones we love. They're like, yeah, but there's not like new stuff there, and I get it, but like if the new stuff is bad, it's like I get wanting more good stuff. That's out the if that was a possibility, if that was on the table, this conversation wouldn't be happening. Right? Okay, you feel me? This isn't the problem. The problem is the new stuff isn't that good. And this does not just go for Star Wars too. This is not me like, you know, subtweeting Star Wars. This is me like, I think a lot of things are going through this right now. So the problem isn't that we're overwhelmed with how much good stuff there is right now. The problem is it's not that great, and throwing money at it doesn't encourage people to get better, so. It'd be like that. Also, I realize now, we need more bend in the knees. I do that, sometimes I just do that so effortlessly when drawing the comics themselves. It's kind of wild that. That was wrong. That was wrong. Yeah, that's about right. Actually, if anything, you know what part of the problem is? His legs are too long. Walt does not stand this tall. Both of them kind of are always a little squat. Got bend in there. They're like a spring. Me drawing them like this is like literally me trying to convey that they're bouncy little pumpkins, in the words of Toby Fox. Because Toby Fox is the sole writer in Deltarune, right? Can I just take any quote from Deltarune and say, and like attribute that to Toby Fox? Like, you know, like you can do that with like if you quote something from Moby Dick, you can be like Herman Melville, right? But what about indie games? Alright. Here's the biggest thing. I'm fixing the shoes. I went off on a whole thing about this before, right? About how I'm meant to be imitating like Mickey's old shoes more, and ended up with large, really structured big old feet. And we're gonna fix that today. Nope, not that. Seeing as that they're pirates, actively working on a boat, boots would make more sense, but I would honestly fear they would just end up looking like Bayonetta. They do not have a lot of leg real estate. If we put boots on these guys, it'll look like it's going up to their thighs. It'll look like they're goofy goobers, specifically Patrick. I really don't know if I'd blame Dave Filoni for problems facing Star Wars and media in general right now. Like I said, it's not like no one's like a one man, you know, creative savior. That's not how making larger creative projects work at all. But like I said, it's like what you said. Some of these things need more time to cook, right? And to some degree, I really don't think it's like, you know, the people making them pushing them out the door. I'm sure they'd love all the time they could get working on it. So that's how it is. Lord, you know, Mina the Hollower is coming out like this week, I believe, which is wild to say. And I do gotta get that. What was I thinking of? But yeah. Oh, me thinking. Why is merging all layers is such a bad option? I don't know why it's there. Anyway, what was I just thinking of? Alright, indie stuff. Yeah, Mina the Hollower's coming out soon. I'm definitely gonna get it like immediately, and I'll probably play it soonish. It won't be like the first thing I play. Probably like not like week of release, probably a little later. But also, another game I gotta play, which I did also get, and I think it's shorter, so it might be easier to just boot up and play through. But it's by Warren Spector, who did Epic Mickey, which is my favorite game. And it's called Thick as Thieves. It's like a stealth game. I mean, I like me a good Metal Gear, so I gotta try that out. See if he cooked on this one. I cannot deny that a large amount of what I like in Epic Mickey is the art direction, but I like a lot of the gameplay decisions and design choices as well. So Was you know, I was framing that as indie. I don't know if it's properly indie. It's not with Disney, I'll say that. Which is... Oh, Atomic. Lord. Is there... I think a State of Play is coming up. And, like, I'm talking about indies as I bring that up. I mostly bring it up because of Sonic. Everyone knows Sega's weird. Everyone knows Sega's freaky, parentheses, derogatory. I was just saying to someone recently, I would just like another game like Mania. I would like a follow-up to Superstars that is more in line with Mania in terms of like both quality and just general feel. It's been a while. I hope they haven't wholly given up on on classic Sonic as a sub-series. I also think part of the benefit, because this is the other thing, right? The last mainline Sonic game that came out was Frontiers. I am not at all confident that the next 3D Sonic game will be like Frontiers. I think the most consistent thing about Sega and modern Sonic is that they are inconsistent. So like I'm not gonna count on that. But the benefit with classic Sonic being a little sub-series is that they don't demand the dev team do something wild and like, you know, just like make it new and cool and better. No, not like that. Like, you know, they're just like, make a classic Sonic game, and they're like, you got it, boss. That kind of backfired a little bit with Superstars, but I had a lot of fun with it. I played a good amount of Superstars, so if you could just crank it up a bit more, make it just a bit, you know, like we've been saying, let it cook a bit more. We'd have something on our hands. I've never read up on what, like, because the Mania team went off and did other stuff, not even like with Sega following Sonic Mania. Never read up on why, but like, even without them, well, I was gonna say this, but I literally just talked about how Sega is consistently inconsistent, right? But you'd think they'd be like, okay, we'll just do that again, you know. We can make one of those no problem when we do the next modern Sonic game. It'll be easy peasy. Just do that again, and we got another, you know, 5-star 10 out of 10 game on our hand that everyone loves. And then they didn't do that. So, Sega, please. I love the little guy. I believe, I forget what specific design short it was in, but TB Skyen, he talked about, like, you know, Sonic's redesign into the adventure era. And granted, I do like a lot of the art of the adventure area. If I'm talking problems with modern Sonic, it's rarely like those early games I'm talking about, even if they were a little jank. Pretty jank, very jank. They do got a style to them, no doubt. And what I was talking about with TB Skyen is he called it like a necessary evolution, and I can see that and somewhat agree with that, while still just being like, yeah, but I like how classic Sonic looks more. I can recognize, yes, for 3D games and, you know, the new millennia, changing, you know, giving Sonic a small redesign was the correct idea. But also, I like this pointing to small, round, you know, classic Sonic. this is great, but I like this. I mean, you can literally look at what I'm drawing right now. Yeah, I like classic Sonic. Shocker. Absolute shocker, I know. Yeah. On top of the shoes, one of the things I want. Also, let's just be like, oh nope, wrong one. Because I think part of what would be good. Yeah, there we go. Just kind of codifying what the shoot detail should look like. Anyway, yeah, also really nailed down what the hats look like from different angles, because I don't do that. every time I'm like, how did but yeah, so but yeah, like I said, I was talking to some people just in a general Discord about that Sonic stuff, and I think there were whispers about that happening at like State of Play, whatever. We'll see. It'd be fun. I don't even think Sonic has to be like, you know, next game has to be pixelated like Mania was. I think by far the 3D art was actually like, it wasn't like amazing, but it was definitely like you could have had a perfectly good follow-up to Mania with that. I think certain like level design and other some aesthetic choices, not graphically but just in general, that's what led to Superstars getting a kind of lukewarm feeling from folks. Man, I very much wish I could just take the rest of the week off. I was thinking Labor Day I might take a lot more time off, because that would also be for my birthday in September, right? So maybe I think that'd be my best opportunity to get like a proper what's it called, like full on almost week vacay. It would be a staycay, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, but especially for my birthday. Like, unless someone says, hey Cahill, do you want to like go on a cruise? My treat. Like, I'm not doing any big trip plans for my birthday. That would require me spending far too much money on myself. No. So I'm okay just kicking it at home. I will say, calculation, my new job does like PTO slightly different, like slightly different from my old job, which makes the calculations a bit weirder. Because it's that slightly different that makes it a problem, right? Because then it's like, some of the same math applies. Not all of it. Also, new job being in the same company and all that makes me very happy I never did any sellback. I have had a friend present me with one scenario where I think PTO sellback was the way to go. But beyond that, I'm almost always in favor of like, no. That's paid time off I can have in the bank for later. Those are little tickets that say, we will give you agreed upon amount of paycheck money, or typical amount, except you have to do zero amount of the work. I do not want to have no thank you. I'm okay with keeping that stored away. Because maybe I do want to do something, or maybe I just don't feel like coming in one day. Maybe I'm like, you know what? I really want to stay home today. And I don't think anything's going to change that, so I'm just going to use one of these. Lord, I feel like for a while now, especially after graduating, it's not even that I think, like, I mean, sure, I'm no CEO, but I don't want to be. Modern day. That's the thing, right? It's not even like all the jobs I've had are all too bad. But I do think a lot... Aw, man, I did this on the sketch layer. Why is digital art like this? Anyway. But I think a lot of stuff just associated with any job is like, this sucks, I don't like this. Part of that is PTO. Because I can understand needing a heads up for, like, you know, for being like, hey, I'm not going to be in this day. But then there's like a whole thing around it, be like, why aren't you at work? And it's like, I don't know, man. Because I want to live? Because I want to do something? Maybe I want to do nothing. You know? Since I have to come in here every day, I don't really... I have a couch at home. Do you know that? I only kind of know that. I don't get to use it. I come in here and then I have other things to do relating to life. Meaning that, like, you know, by the time I get home proper, I don't get a lot of time to just hang out, enjoy my house. Isn't that wild? Also, it's doubly wild because I feel like a lot of times when I get pushback on using my PTO, it doesn't even come from like my boss, it comes from other people being like, yeah, but why? Why aren't you at work? And it's like, I don't... Do I have to say? Like... It's almost like the opposite. Like, you know... It's like the opposite of when you go into an interview for a job and they're like, okay, but why do you want this job? And the answer is because civilization has deemed I need money to continue living. And like, then you use your PTO and it's like, okay, but why do you need your PTO? And it's like, because I would like to live. I would like to live the life I've worked for. Crazy stuff. That being said, and this is also affected on like why I've not been streaming as regularly. Crazy frog, ding, Ding ding. That's what he says at the start. I was gonna start doing Scatman. Also, hi, Juice. Juice has heard enough of this already, so I'm sorry to them that they're here for this, but it's like, I've also, you know, it's ironic I'm saying all this because I've also taken too much time off, which is why I've not been streaming as regularly or as much lately. I've had to go to the doctors a lot because my asthma went insane in April and May. Like, not good, very bad. There's at least one point where I was like, well, this is probably what anaphylactic shock feels like. So I know that for the future. So that was 2 days where I gotta leave early, one where I have to fully call out. And as much as I like taking time off, I don't like to call out last minute. I usually do have to have some kind of urgency in order for me to feel justified in that, and there was urgency. But yeah, so I'm gonna try and figure things out. Hopefully next summer I can take a proper, like, full week off and go camping. I fucking miss camping, man. Or play a little silly little game. Yeah, Juice. I've been a redeem for a while. It's just that I haven't been streaming a lot and no one comes to my streams. But if you would like to play a silly little game to get a sub, you may redeem that if you have the appropriate points. And you don't even have to feel bad about me giving you a sub, because guess what? Like, yeah, so like half of that goes to Twitch, but the other half goes back to me, so. Also gets me close to your playout. Cannon Shot. Juice wants to play Cannon Shot. Alright, Juice. Let's play some Cannon Shot. Yippee wahoo game time. Let me save real quick. Alrighty, Juice. Let's get this game started. Here's Cannon Shot. How it works. Right now we're looking at the broad side of a galleon. At one of these squares is a powder keg. You have, I want to make sure, let me double check the rules real quick, because this is the first time I'm playing this. Yep. So, you have 3 guesses as to where the powder keg is hidden in the ship. If you hit it, you win the sub. If you don't, then you don't. So, give me 1 second though, because we're going to make sure this is set up. Alright, you can't see any of this, right? Alright. I am going, where should I put the powder keg? I'm thinking right here is a good one. Okay, Juice. So, the powder keg is set. Please type out the coordinates of your 3 guesses in chat. I will then reveal where, you know, if the powder keg is there or not. And like I said, if you guess it, you get a you get a sub. B2, D1, and C4. Okay, so B2 was thinking D1 and C4. Also, wait a minute, I'm ready. Okay. Alright. Ready? So, B1. Oh wait, no, B2. Well, that's still a miss either way. It was in the right area. D1. Also a miss. I'm sorry about that, Juice. And C4. I'm sorry, Juice. None of those were a hit. Let's see where the powder keg was hidden. It was at C3. You just danced around it. You just danced around it. So, you were pretty close, but not quite there. I'm gonna shoot myself. Don't. I shit myself. You've also been blown away by this galleon, so that is unfortunate. But I hope you had a good time. That was Cannon Shot, one of our 2 mini games on Cahill Comics. I hope everyone enjoyed, and better luck next time. Back to art. I mean, what's the thinking of? I hope it's clear. If you heard clicking, they've been blown away by Gallant Gun. I love the Carnival game. I'm glad. Also, are both of those one each? I think they're both set to one a stream each. So if someone wanted to play the next game, they'd be able to. Also, you're valid for that, Juice. That being said, I think if I made the odds any smaller, I'd be constantly giving out subs. And to some degree, that's not a bad thing. Conversely, however, it's like, I mean, you want it to feel like, when you do, and you want it to feel like, oh my gosh, I did it, so. As I think it up. But yeah, if you heard clicking during that, I wanted to be clear. Very honor rule system here. I would not, if someone, I would love it if someone won the game. I would never move the X that marks the spot from where it was. I do have those little O's though, in order to also Hydron. I don't know if I said Hydron. I do have those little O's though to be like, oh, if it's a miss, then you know, I'll show that. So, and I also hope Juice being the first one to redeem it would make people further believe, no, I'm not going to cheat. So let me check the rules for. What's the rules for Wanted Tunes? I want to make sure. Okay, it doesn't say a number. I'd probably give people 2 guesses. 3 guesses feels like, you know. At that game specifically, 3 guesses feels like they're probably just gonna get it. There's only so many animated properties that match that description, so I'm just going to name all of them in quick succession. Yeah, that other one is also... You would hear me... Here's the thing. The other one you would hear me cheating at, because I have the answer typed out already. So if someone guessed it and I was like, no, you'd hear... So... Some accountability. You know. Listen, I have accountability. I'm not the US government. Topical. Just like a classic game show. Weird, slightly uncomfortable humor. Also, I think I shouted him out once before. Kofi. Now that one's under... I was thinking of. I should put it, or is it donate? There you go. I need to get rid of the Stream Elements bot because I'm not using Stream Elements anymore. I also like, I don't know why anyone needs my Ko-fi, but I should have that up every stream. Oh wait, nope, that's the wrong one. Fuck you, Stream Elements. I mean, honestly. The other reason I don't even have alerts anymore. Because fucking like, they're like AI, and I'm like, no. And like, between them and what's the Streamlabs, it's like fucking, okay, apparently every third party, you know, fucking, like, what's it called? Every third party streaming tool is bullshit. So we need to cut down on those as much as possible. There we go. Okay. All that set. Yeah, so. And like, to that degree, it's kind of worked out. I've only had, you know, so many people in my stream since I did a little rebrand. Oh, hello? Oh, there we go. Because it means, like, you know, I don't gotta worry too much about things going crazy. It's useless and does nothing. No, 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 Goat. Goat, come on. It does something. It makes most things worse. Like the environment and all applications you use. It guzzles water. It steals half of Nigeria's power. That's a real thing that happened. It puts people into small psychoses. Let me see. I want to make sure I got the right country. Nigeria. Yeah, this one. I think it was Nigeria. Microsoft's massive oh, it was Kenya, my bad. Microsoft's massive Kenya AI data center would require switching off half the country to meet the power requirements. Sorry, Kenya. So yeah. Anyway, we should move on to happier things. I've been like talking purely about like Disney bullshit. No, AI. Nasty. Nasty, nasty. I will reiterate. Opposite sides of the continent. That is true. What was I thinking of? I would probably benefit from learning a fair amount about like different African countries and stuff. Because like, I was thinking of, I mean, the history of it, I don't want to say it's interesting because that's not a really good apt description. It's more awful because Europe, which, you know, could say that for a lot of places, but you know, like lots of places were just divided based on like what European country wanted something where, and that's where a lot of borders were drawn. But still, like any place, rich native culture, which changes because one, it's a massive continent and with lots of different places. So this Mando showing at 7 p.m. That's the latest? Damn. Yeah, also, I was thinking of, I do my best to put my money where my mouth is. I mean, for Juice, a lot of people I know have been saying there's no movies out right now. You'd think when, you know, a Star Wars movie comes out, they would have it playing a lot and often. What was I thinking of? Oh yeah, I do my best to put my money where my mouth is, so if I think the people running a business or a product itself is not great, I typically will be like, yeah, I'm actively not going to support, I'm going to do the opposite of supporting that. And I definitely don't encourage anyone to see Mando. That being said, it's barely breaking even right now, so like the fact that my family wanted to see it, I'd be like, yeah, could be worse. It's not a Disney remake, so it's original at least, so. There is that. If they were asking me to see a Disney remake, I'd be like, we can stay home and watch something else. Most of my family hasn't seen Godzilla -1. I hear it's a great horror. Juice, I need you to know, Deja was over Saturday, and they said, I think Obsession was dog shit. And I don't get why everyone likes it. They said that, and I'm not a big horror guy. I'm gonna watch Iron Lung is coming out on YouTube, so I'm gonna watch that when it's there because I didn't get to see it in theaters. And Backrooms is coming out. That's already way more horror than I'm usually ingesting. I gotta go watch it. Fair enough. But you know. Well, I have lots of friends online. That sounds sadder than I meant it to be. Well, all of my friends are online. Deja's one of the few people who I meet with consistently in real life. And I don't need one of the conversations we have to be like, oh, by the way, against your advisement, I went to see Obsession. Because either I will agree with Deja in thinking it's bad, or I'll disagree with Deja and that'll be awkward. So, that's a lose-lose scenario. Watch a remake in theaters. That's a based opinion. Especially a Disney remake. Because, like, I mean, any live-action remake is typically a bad idea. My one exception to that is One Piece, because One Piece is, and I've said this before, One Piece writing is of such a quality that it deserves better than, like, the singular anime adaptation a lot of manga gets. So it also getting a live-action version, which is somewhat suited for Western audiences, I'm okay with that. What else was I thinking of? But that might be like the one exception, because other than that, all you're doing is taking the style out of something. So I think a live action Avatar: The Last Airbender came out on Netflix. It should show how good it is by the fact that I keep saying I think. 'Cause I couldn't tell you. That might exist. It might be okay. I don't know. Doesn't matter. I'd rather watch the original. Yo, it did. Damn. Anyway. Speaking of cartoons, me and Stealth have gone through not all of Yu-Gi-Oh! And Digimon, but the Yu-Gi-Oh! And Digimon we want to see. You know? I wanted to watch... Okay. Stealth convinced me to watch Duel Monsters, and that has activated my autism like nothing, like almost nothing else before, with the exception of maybe Pirates of the Caribbean when I was 3. I then wanted to watch 5Ds, which was also a great decision. And we watched GX2, which I liked, but you know, I don't think it was as good as the other two. Was thinking of. And then Stealth was like, well, since we're on that Saturday morning anime train, I love Digimon, let's watch Digimon. So we've watched Digimon Adventure, Adventure 02, Tamers, and now Beat Break. And the other, like, 4 that we haven't watched We were trying to watch Data Squad too, but there's been problems with that. Stealth is like, yeah, I don't like those ones, and I'm like, I agree. I don't want to watch like Arc V for Yu-Gi-Oh, because like I don't want to hear about Link summoning or Z summoning. That would be a good idea. Actually, Tron, thank you, because I should put that on list. But that's the thing, Stealth made a list, because we are now kind of through like franchise shows we want to watch, so that means, you know, we'd probably want to watch like singular shows. But among them, top of the list, at least for me, and I think for Stealth too, Code Lyoko. Fuck yeah, Code Lyoko. We love. If you don't like Code Lyoko in this, and you can get your ass out of here. We love French anime in this house. But then Stealth also said Black Clover, and I want to watch Black Clover. A lot of my friends say they like Black Clover. It seems to have a muscle woman in it. I want to check it out. Fucking don't tell me the CGI isn't good. That adds to it, okay? You can make fun of the foreheads. That's understandable. It's correct, actually. CGI is off limits. That adds to it. Because it's like, you know, if it was good CGI, would that like, if it looked as good as the regular show, would it sell the idea of them going into a virtual world as much? I don't know, and I don't care. Doesn't matter, because that show doesn't exist. We just have base Code Lyoko, and it is, and trust me, it's quite based. So this is why I'm never on board with people making fun of the French. Code Lyoko, French Revolution. They got some W's in there. I'd be remiss to act like they don't. I like Ryuki 01 and Yeats. Was thinking of, I want to watch. I should see if Stealth is interested in watching Kuga, because that is, I started watching it and I like it, and it is on YouTube. And for Sentai, I love to pick. I got through like half of Tokyuger and ended up having to, like, I think life just overwhelmed me, and I was like, this show is so happy. I can't. What is a Kuga? It's a beetle. I don't know, let's see. Kuga meaning. Japanese. Kuga! Kuga meaning. It is based on, so what's Kuga supposed to mean? It just means selfless. The Common Rider is beetle based though, so. But yeah. Juice, it's a guy, he's homeless. Okay. The first thing, Juice, I can't stress this enough. Kuga, that too. I can't stress enough. First thing, this man is homeless. Second thing, he goes to visit his friend. She has ancient artifacts with her because she works in archaeology. Turns out it's a belt. He puts on the belt. A bunch of demons show up. He fights them after turning into a beetle. Comedy and action ensues. Comedy, action, a lot of murder, really. Yeah. Japanese Blue Beetle. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I like Blue Beetle. Actually, no. Blue Beetle would be a Kamen Rider. I don't know if... Well, no. The original Blue Beetle isn't. He's like 70 years beforehand. I'm just realizing this. But, yeah, like... Jaime, he would definitely be a Kamen Rider. Because one of the defining things about Kamen Riders is that they use technology, kind of, that kind of like they use the bad guy shit against them. Trom, that's you listed one of them for sure. Is that 01? Who's the orange one? Kamen Rider Orange Samurai. Gaim. That's it. That's one of the... But yeah. So, knowing that the scarabs in Blue Beetle are meant to be like, you know, shit used to take over planets, that would definitely be like, oh yeah. Oh my goodness. Cahill 02? Like Digimon 02? I'm sorry. We were just talking about a lot of the Saturday morning cartoons me and my friend have been watching. Those are among them. What have you been up to? Repo? Oh, we do love me a Repo. Well, actually, I never played Repo. I was like watching VTubers play it. But I hope you had a good one. Thank you so much for the raid. If y'all don't know me, I'm Cahill. I'm an artist. I like to make comics. I used to play games more. I still play the occasional game, but I'm trying to really double down on my comics. And part of that includes doing a character sheet right here. So if you're interested, you can always check out the comics that are out so far. And if you hang around, I really appreciate that. Yeah, then, well, the Super Sentai and was thinking of Kamen Rider are very much in line with these discussions, because they are definitely Saturday morning things, somewhat meant for kids, but they got some decent writing behind them. So, but yeah, I have a lot of my friends are like, yeah, I'm not really into Repo, so I haven't played it, but looks fun. I also am somewhat broke. So even if someone was like, oh my gosh, Cahill, come play Repo, I'd be like, I need a bit more bang for my buck here. I apologize. Even better now. We do love to see it. I did get Peak, and I played that once. I would like to play that with some friends more, because the developer seems cool. I do love that. Listen, they kind of apologize for it. I don't think they needed to. I love that the Peak developers was thinking of were like, hey, everyone asking for updates. Fuck off. We do what we want. And then they're like, to clarify. I'm like, no. That was an incredibly cool thing that you just said. I'm here for it. You're good. Like they do be putting out those updates for free. That being said, some of my friends have been playing Lethal Company more again, and I'm glad, because I think Lethal Company deserves even more roses than it's got. It was an inspired work of game design when it came out, to the point that now a lot of games that come out on Steam just kind of do what Lethal Company did, because it's a very easy way to get people to play the game. And like there's been like, I think Repo and Peak definitely have added some fun things to the formula, and I wouldn't call them just like cash-ins, but I think Lethal Company needs a special place in a little Hall of Fame for how it was made and what it did, because it's also not at all, oh my lord, music. Anyway, It's also like not at all the same kind of thing as like Five Nights at Freddy's with mascot horror, because like that kind of trend in games meant that people were just incentivized to make, you know, games with where like the twist is like thing made for kid is actually scary. The trend with Lethal Company is like, yeah, some of the games can be a little like just like shot out, but also the whole point of that design philosophy is that you have fun with your friends. So I would classify it as way less harmful. You know what I mean? Like, no, you're all good, Kylie. I appreciate that. Have a good one. Thank you for the raid so much. But yeah, like one is almost meant to like sell merch, and like you maybe you could say the other about like the Lethal Company likes that have been out. Some people call it friend slop, and I'm not a big fan of that term. But again, the more often than not, all it does is just like, hey, have you and your friends have a good time in our game, and like I don't know how mad I can be at that. It's kind of interesting because, like, you know, people have pointed out in America, I think, let me make sure I got the term right. Okay. Yeah. So, like, in America, it weirdly kind of makes up for the lack of third places, i.e., like, places to hang out with friends, especially if a lot of your friends are distant and online. A game with that allows you to do a general goal in ways you like and to have fun with while hanging out with your friends in a proximity chat. Definitely, I think, I don't want to say it like emulates being in a real room with someone, but it's I think this is Rend. I don't know what Rend is. Now I have to Google this. Juice, is this something we need to play together? A violent separate. Juice, Juice, when I looked this up, it just said a violent separation of parts. Do you just like killing people? Ah. Juice, let's play more Lethal Company together. I'll help you fight off the cat. Anyway. But, like, unironically. So, what I was saying before is, before I completely forgot all the plans in Lethal Company, is I don't think it's that it makes up for, like, it's not like, oh, this makes up for meeting in real life. This is just like being in a room with someone. It's just more so, as opposed to like your Fortnites or what have you, or Marvel Rivals. It's you don't have to stress so much about coordination and victory in a game. The kinds of games Lethal Company inspired are like much slower, and you know, if you're trying really hard, you can ostensibly do very well very easily, you know. So again, it's not that it wholly makes up for not being able to meet up with friends in real life. It's just more so it is a way to meet up with friends kind of in the, you know, in the context of video games, which you might normally already be bonding over, except, you know, you don't have to worry about the game aspect as much. You can focus way more on just friendship. So that's why I don't like to call it friend slop, because in a lot of ways it's like, no. Like, don't get me wrong, again, like I said, plenty of them can be just real quick pieces of work that are not very good. Regardless of that fact, it's still like, yeah, it's a way for me and my friends to hang out, so it's hard for me to talk about it derogatorily. I'm sure literally no one from the raid like to hear me talk about like repo like that, but I don't know, it's fun. Game design. I am a game designer. I am technically a game designer. I'm making a card game. I actually I'm dangerously close to what was I thinking of? To having my like alpha test up and running in a tabletop simulator, which is pretty exciting. Because, you know, that's very real. I think lots of people, myself included, are just like, yeah, I'll make a game, and then like you write it out, and then that's it, you know? You just kind of write out the concept for the rules. And you're like, yeah, maybe I'll get back to that, and then it's like, understandable, making a game is hard. You gotta be kidding me with this. Okay, well, give me a second. Anyway, but being like, okay, I have all the things necessary to test an actual game. That's like, oh my goodness, that's a game. that's like a real. That's like doing a real thing. So, hopefully it'll be good. It is literally just for the purpose of making a, you know, a somewhat soundly designed game and then confining it to the reality of fiction. Because like I said, Yu-Gi-Oh! Had my autism by a fuck. Well, no, had is a wrong word. Has my autism in a chokehold. So, I also think to some degree it's like I like finding things where it's like, wow, this is some real cool stuff, and then like, you know, kind of the wider writing and artistic world is just like, I like finding value in things that might otherwise be written off as like, that's not, you know, yeah, but that wasn't real art, that kind of stuff. Because I don't know how much I talk about this on stream, but as opposed to a fist fight, I think two characters hashing out differences and having them kind of manifest in the confines of a game can lead to some really cool stuff. Not the least of which is like, one, you know, and it's a reason I like Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters over just like the original kind of gambling concept. Because when it's the same game every time, that means you get familiar with certain strategies and kind of know what's going on with different characters. And it makes it even more interesting when those characters fights, right? Like, you know, in a typical shonen or any other kind of, like, I don't know, a John Wick movie even, if two characters are, you know, set up to fight each other, it's kind of just like, well, this guy's strong, is better at fighting, so he kind of seems like the clear favorite to win, or this is the good guy, so either he wins or he dies and the story's over, so that's probably not going to happen, you know, that kind of stuff. If it's a game, though, like, you can, one, you don't know how the fighting is going to happen. You're just like, I know what these two characters can do. I have no idea how it's going to interact with each other. And then also, the good guy can lose. Like, in Yu-Gi-Oh!, typically, if you lose the game, you die. They love to make exceptions to that to make sure, you know, Yugi doesn't die. But also, you know, ostensibly, you can have the characters put massive stakes on a game and make it be like, okay, it's really important that they win this, only for them to not win it. And the story can still continue, because even if the characters have lost something either story important or personally important, like, they can still, like, keep going. Like, it doesn't necessarily, it can be as devastating as a character in a typical kind of shonen losing a fight, but it's not as debilitating, you know. Not to go back to, like, the father of all shonens, but, like, yeah, death doesn't matter in Dragon Ball, but if Goku dies, we have to go get the Dragon Balls. Like, there is a setback. You say that, Juice? I have not seen all the John Wick movies. I do know they play cards a couple times. I think the only difference is John Wick would not actively try to kill the Pharaoh, and also, he wouldn't be able to. They do? They do. Like, to be clear, John Wick is perfectly capable of killing a high schooler, I'm sure. I don't think he ever does that in the films, because, you know, he's not a great guy, but he doesn't do that. It's just that in a shadow game, you could be as physically strong as you like, and if you cheat or lose, it's not gonna go great. Yeah. When it comes to shadow games, if you do anything that would normally disqualify you from the game, up to and including attempting murder, then your opponent won't suffer any consequences, but you will. So, that being said, John is also, I know, smart and level-headed, so to go after you in an attempt? No, because they would give him no reason to. I'm just saying, in a theoretical scenario where they met in, and this is like the kind of stuff power scalers completely ignore, right? Because they'd be like, well, no, because Yugi's a kid and John Wick is a man who kills people, so. But yeah, but in the context of the place it makes the most sense for them to fight is in a card game, in which John won't be completely outclassed, but Yugi has a massive advantage. He's not called the king of games because he's bad. We will say that much. I love gassing up Yami Yugi. Yeah. I think the most likely scenario is that Yugi and John Wick have the most high stakes card game in the world that makes everyone around them collectively shit their pants. And then, when it's eventually over, nothing happens. Because neither of them have any reason to hurt the other. Everyone else, terrified. Those two had a great time. Yo, can I say something? I'm so sorry. I've been going on about Yu-Gi-Oh! Forever. I like Yu-Gi-Oh! I wasn't joking. Anyway. What was I thinking of? I really feel like there's a lot of sadness in the ending of Duel Monsters, in part, which makes like Desaad worth anything at all, right? A cow for giving him milk. I'm gonna shake him. Is this in your Oh, you're talking about in the. I thought you were playing Tomodachi for a second. Juice. Anyway. And you had put my rabbit and a cow in there. Anyway, there's a lot of things that make the ending to Duel Monsters sad. Which in part, you know, makes Dark Side of Dimensions worth watching. I think part of it, when you think about it, one of the things that makes it actually quite sad is that at the end of the day, Yugi and Yami Yugi, they like playing games. Like, yes, they've had to do it to fight for their lives a lot of times, like a distressing amount of times in a short window. But they do still like playing games. I'm sure either one would love to play a game against the other, right? Since they are both incredibly skilled, the idea of getting to play each other is incredibly enticing, right? It's just that they can't do that because they share a body, which makes things a little difficult. The one time they do get to do that, it is because Yugi has to ceremonially kill Yami Yugi by beating him in a game. After which, they will never have the opportunity to play again because he will be dead. An obnoxious amount of times. That too. Listen, that's on that one at least has more of an explanation as to why they have to save Kaiba's company so much. Kaiba took Lockheed Martin and turned it into Nintendo, and made it more successful than either of those companies. So, like, yeah, he has a lot of people gunning for his seat. Both literally and figuratively. But yeah, like, I don't know. Listen, I'm a big nerd. I get it. Whatever. I still think that's a fun bit of writing. And, like, it's not, like, you know, some of that is me interpreting the text. I can't say 100% that's necessarily what Takahashi intended. But also, some of it is legitimately there in, like, just the story. Like, Anzu / Taya. Like, she literally is like, hey, but do we have to, though? And they're like, and everyone is like, listen, the answer to that is yes, but also, we all understand why you're asking. None of us want to kill our good friend we've gotten to know. But we're going to. That is true. But but I'm not even talking about, like, because, you know, I'm not a big fan of the virtual world arc, but Waking the Dragon, I've been on record at this point multiple times saying if they remade Duel Monsters, I think they legitimately just should have Waking the Dragons in it, even though it is considered filler. What was I thinking of? Thinking of words. All right. Like there's great character moments in that's legitimately really well written. But no, like I'm just talking in like Duelist City. I mean, not Battle City. I always get Duelist Kingdom and Battle City like mixed up. Anyway. But yeah, just in Battle City and the final arc alone, I think there's a lot of like, we have to do this for our friend, but also, oh, but also, oh, you have to kill our friend. We have to kill our friend and then never see him again because he'll be dead in the apparently very real afterlife. I don't like that that's the case. So. But yeah, some cool stuff in Yu-Gi-Oh! That's also, it's kind of why I don't like GX as much. I'll say this, Trom. The virtual world arc. Okay. The virtual world arc is, it drags on way too much, that's for sure. Waking the Dragons, I think, is straight up good up until like the last episode where they run out of animation budget. Grand Prix I like, just because it's like, what was I thinking of? Like, in the manga, right? You have the original manga where it's basically like just Jigsaw. You have Duelist Kingdom, where they're playing D&D with magic cards. Then you finally get to Battle City, where the cards of the actual TCG come into play, right? If you are to strictly follow the manga from there, you then go immediately into the whole, ancient Egypt arc. And at which point they largely don't do any card stuff because they're focusing on the mythology. And that's not too bad, but say I want more content of my characters that I like playing something that more closely resembles the real game, right? I think for that reason alone, Waking the Dragons and Grand Prix, pretty good. Also, I genuinely kind of like Rebecca in the Grand Prix arc. I don't know if that's a hot take or not. But, like, because otherwise she's kind of a one-off character. I don't know how one-off she is in the manga. But, like, otherwise besides that, she's, she doesn't show up as much in the manga. And I don't mind them giving her more screen time. Especially because, it lets her actually show off being good at the game instead of being one of those characters where she's introduced as good as the game and then you beat her. Trom, to be fair, let's see. How many times does someone try to steal Kaiba Core? You have the original Duelist Kingdom. That's one. Virtual World counts as another, but we're going to put that to the side because we both agree that's not good. He surrendered. That is true, but he would have beaten her. That's the point. The point of the duel is like, is showing it's like, yeah, I could have beaten you, but that would have accomplished nothing. And kind of teaching sportsmanship. Was thinking of. It also is upset. Pegasus? Noah, yes. Darts. Did Darts? He like stole stuff from Kaiba, basically. I don't think he was trying to take over Kaiba Corp though. What's his German face? Siegfried. Okay. But was thinking of. Still though, became majority owner. Did he? That's wild. Still, 3 of those are filler. Only Pegasus in the base material. Actually, you know. Also, here's another thing, right? I would love Waking the Dragons in a remake of Duel Monster, but with the manga continuity where Pegasus dies. Like, I like Pegasus as much as the next guy. He dies in the comic. If we do a remake, he has to die. And then I'd be interested, because he's not like super prominently in Waking the Dragons, but he's there. And that's a little weird considering, you know, short guy. But yeah, regardless, I would like to see Waking the Dragons remade, specifically in being like, okay, we are going to make Waking the Dragons fit in the canon manga. So Pegasus has to die. Rest in peace. Rest in peace, but that's what you get for for kidnapping several people and also deciding to go looking for ancient Egyptian artifacts. Not for your card game. I'm pretty sure he already made Duel Monsters at that point. No, he just did that to bring his wife back. And he did, and apparently the best object for him was the eye, which is an awful, awful choice. I'll tell you one thing right now. If I was looking for occult objects in order to bring back my dead wife and also somewhat help with my card game, and someone in Egypt ripped out my eye and put a new one in, I don't care what the new eye lets me do. I would say that's we're done. That's it. Yeah. Also, well, so this is actually the thing, Trump. I somewhat agree with you, but I do think they should leave like the Atlantis stuff in there somewhat, maybe not as prominently, bit closer to Egypt maybe. But like watching 5Ds, I do like the idea that, like, you know, there are multiple like kind of the supernatural stuff that got folded into Duel Monsters was not just in Egypt. There were legitimately different cultures all around the world in ancient times that had wacky stuff going on, and those have leaked into Duel Monsters. So having a different culture like Atlantis, which is not a real culture, but listen, I'm trying. Having that be present, I was thinking of, as a way to, one, like I said before, help pad it out a bit more, so that way we get more time to see the characters play the actual game, and then also help to expand the world and transition into the more mystical final arc, like, that works for me. And then again, I'm okay with leaving Grand Prix in there because I see Grand Prix as like the beach episode before we go kill our friend. So I can, if I had to sacrifice it to keep Waking the Dragons in a remake, I would. But if I had my way, I would include it. Maybe shorten it a bit, but include it nonetheless. That now, Chom, you've done it. The parallels, we like to see it. That's good. And now you're on the ball, Chom. So I'm with we are in agreement on that. That's a very good direction for it. Yeah. I don't know if anyone else cares about this. I just think, because honestly, here's the thing. I was actually reading some manga exclusive stuff to Duel Monsters before, specifically in regards to Duke / Itogi. And I was like, wow, this arc seems better in the manga actually. And like I said, to some degree, I don't like that in the manga it goes so quickly from like the rules of the real game to to the final arc. But in that regard, in that specific circumstance, it seems like the manga had some pretty cool stuff going on. So again, also to some degree, I'm talking about all this because it is related to kind of what we were talking before about like remakes and yada yada, right? It's like I'm talking about a Yu-Gi-Oh remakes in the context of like why have one, you know? If the original anime was so influential and important already, why bother remaking it? And in part, my reason is because, one, you could have a more uncensored version nowadays that more closely reflects the manga. And then, two, if you respond to that by saying, why not just read the manga then? Because you can then take some stuff that was anime exclusive and add that too, to have the best of both worlds. So, like that's when like a remake is worth doing, you know? When it's like, oh, wow. This is like the definitive version of a thing now. There was like a debate before about how someone might want to experience this piece of art, but now that's kind of gone out the window because this new version they just made is like all of it. Yeah. I would like, I think using modern animation and with respect to the source material and the original anime, because you can't deny that they like the 4Kids dub didn't like change a generation, right? Like including Waking the Dragons isn't just about that was a good arc that was filler only originally. It's also about like the anime did legitimately like was its own monster for a while. Right. So on top of cleaning up and you know, like I said, being more faithful, the original anime, you also get to pay respects to it at the same time. So anyway, I think I'm actually gonna call here. I'm getting so weirdly sweaty, and I gotta get up for work early tomorrow. So it's like, I think calling it here might be good. We got a little bit done, not everything I wanted to, but honestly, like, we were being very mindful about, you know, about like how this came out. So that's how it is, and I had a lot of fun. So I hope y'all had a lot of fun too. Let's find someone to read. Yeah. I mean, heck, who knows? Maybe my card game will do well enough one day that, like, I'll be able to, like, what was I thinking of? I could be able to afford making the rights to Yu-Gi-Oh! Not the card game, but at least the anime rights. Petition it somewhat. That'd be fun. That's a dream, though. So maybe one day I'll have to take over Card Corp. I'm gonna see if I can raid Candy, AI Candy of Vichiban. Oh, I can. That's good. Cause I've been watching a lot of her stuff, and she's playing with like Kairio Crocodile and Kiwi, who I've also been watching. So I figured we'd give them a raid. So I hope y'all will hang around for that. Thanks for coming by tonight. And on Thursday we will be back. And rather than doing this, I'll probably be working on stream assets. Well, more specifically VOD assets, but more just general art. So hope to see you there. Bye.